I was very happy when we got ahead 30-20 with about, I don't know, 10 minutes left in the, maybe less than that, 8 minutes left in the half. It might have been less than that. Then Nigel Pack went down, and then nothing went right. It's kind of been the story all season long. We play well for a while. We're up 30-20. Nigel goes down. Halftime, it's 32-28. Second half, they play terrific. You got to give them a lot of credit. And I think it's much easier to play offense when the other team can't make a shot. We shot 6 of 27 from three. That's 22%, and 33% overall. When you can't make shots, you can't score the ball. We had 32 at halftime, and we end up the game with 57. So not a good night at the offensive end. And our defense, which was very good in the first half, was not very good in the second.
What do you make of it offensively, either shot selection, the shots are, I mean, just what do you think went wrong?
Well, some of the shots just went in and out. It looked like a good shot, looked like it was going in, and then it rimmed out. And then we had several late in the game where we got it right to the rim, and it missed. Then we got the rebound right at the rim and missed again. And then got the rebound again and missed again. I think it's unfortunate for these guys to have, gone through this. Maybe in their life there'll be a lot more challenges and adversity. But right now, for a college basketball player to lose as many as we have in a row, very challenging and frustrating and disappointing for everybody.
Jim, coming off last year, I mean, there was just so much energy on the team, and the way the team was playing with so much confidence, so much energy. It just seems, as an outsider looking at the team, there isn't that, I don't know, that hunger, that energy, that attention to detail, leadership, all of those things that made last year's team so good, ball movement. What happened, do you think?
Isaiah Wong and Jordan Miller graduated. Because now the game comes down to players, So last year, if we needed a bucket, I went right to Isaiah or Jordan, one of those two guys, and invariably they would deliver. All right? We don't really have that this year, haven't had it all season long, where, we need a bucket down the stretch. Who do we go to? This year it's been, guys wanting to take on that role of Isaiah Wong or Jordan Miller, but you really have to have the skill set because, you don't just score. You got to really have the skills to put the ball in the basket time after time after time. And we just really haven't had that this year.
At the beginning of the year, you were very hopeful about Wooga. I remember preseason, a lot of the things you were saying about him. He started strong, then he got injured. Was it just the injury, or did something else happen to him upstairs, or what?
I think you'd have to ask him that because you can't know how much pain a guy is in. So he sprained his ankle. He was obviously out for several games during that time. When you come back and the ankle's still not 100% healthy, you're trying to figure out in your mind, plus it was the first time he'd ever been hurt, first time he ever had a sprained ankle. So he's dealing with the mental and emotional side where you put pressure on yourself because, hey, I had a great December. I want to have a great January too, but I'm not 100%. And then you miss a couple of shots. Now your confidence, you start to question, should I have taken that shot or what have you? And then we lose some games, and all of a sudden as a team, you're not as confident. And you're trying to figure out, as a coach, who do we go to right now? Wooga was going to be the guy we go to in these situations, and he's not 100%. And then Nigel's also out. I mean, think about it. Wooga got hurt on December 29th. And then Nigel and Norshad sprained their ankle against Wake Forest in our second game of the new year. Right? We'd only played 2 games. We beat Clemson at home, looked good, a good team, had, I think, 19 assists or made a ton of threes. We looked like the team that we wanted to be. But you don't have Wooga, Nigel gets hurt, you don't have Norshad. Where are we going to get our points from? Bensley's certainly not going to score 25. He'd like to, be nice if he could, but that's not his role. He's a point guard. He's got to get other guys in. Norshad, he's already dealing with a size discrepancy every night where he's a big guy himself, but he's hurt now. He's got a sprained ankle, and he's trying to fight back. And, it comes down to the war of attrition. All you have to do is look at any other team that loses. Not if you only lose one guy, that's a little different. All right, we were without Wooga. All right, we still beat Clemson, but then we're without Wooga, and then Nigel sprains his ankle, Norshad sprains his ankle. Like we're out without 3 starters, and the young guys have no experience. We're using Keyshawn George, who's going to be a very good player, but he's only. At that time, we played 11 non-conference games. We're like 13 games into his career, and we're still trying to figure out if we should play him at the point, the 2, the 3, or the 4. I mean, it's that early in his career. And Michael Nowako, the same way. We're trying to figure out, exactly how to utilize him. And he's trying to figure out, how do I stay in the game without fouling, because it's so physical down there. So if I had the answers as to why, I would have obviously used those. We tried a lot of different things and different lineups, but the fact of the matter is, people have disparaged the ACC, and I think our league is very, very good and very deep. Boston College, Quentin Post is a pro. He's an NBA guy. He probably won't get drafted because he's older, but he can shoot the 3, he can post up, he's got a great jump hook, he rebounds the ball, and he knows how to play. All right? So they have an anchor to their offense that can be moved from the low post to the top of the key, which is really what you want. It's why we've tried to help Norshad advance his game. So Norshad can now play in around the basket, but he can also move out onto the perimeter and shoot a 3. So today, he was 4 for 11 from the field and only 1 for 4 from 3. And he was only 1 for 4 from the foul line. So that's not a typical shooting game for him. Now, it was senior day. His family was here. How do I determine as a coach whether that's a factor? I don't know if that was a distraction for him or he put more pressure on himself. As a coach, you can only deal with the circumstance you have at that moment. Like when we fell behind by 10, I called a timeout and went to full court pressure, hoping that would kind of energize us and the crowd and maybe get a couple of. And we had some perfect opportunities and then just missed the shot. If we made those shots, down 4, Bensley shooting 3. If it cuts it to 1, now we're up pressing. Now it might be a different ending. But he missed the shot. Then Matt Cleveland went coast to coast and missed a left-hand layup. He's trying to make the shot. I thought he got fouled, but doesn't get called, so it's not a foul. All right, then Norshad gets the offensive rebound and he misses. So, I've been very, very fortunate to be a part of a lot of great teams, both as a head coach and as an assistant. And I tell every team I ever was the head coach to, the hardest job on the team are the subs. They don't know when they're going in. They don't know how long they're going to play. They have to try to maintain their positive energy and their confidence, knowing that I might get in, I might not. And if I go in, I might only get in for a minute or 2 and then come out. And a great example is Michael Nowako. He comes in, he gets 7 points in the first half and looks really good. Right? In the second half, we're pressing and he's not pressing quite hard enough, so I got to take him out. Whereas a guy like Ja'Kai Robinson, he comes in, gives us some great effort defensively, makes a little 15-foot jumper, but he's not a scorer. He's not a guy that is going to get double figures or take 10 shots. Oh, that's a long answer. I don't even remember what your question was.
Last year, you guys were in the Final Four. You lost.
We were?
Yeah. You lost.
Oh, I remember that now.
You lost some players. Now you're 15-15. But what's the mindset going into your last game and possibly even next season?
Well, I don't think about next season. I'm just going to get ready for Florida State at Florida State. They really handle us here. Their defense and their size really bothers us. I mean, they're very, very quick. They're long. They got like 3 7-footers or 6'11" guys that can block shots and dunk the ball on you. They're a very hard matchup for us defensively. So I say all that, and, I don't know how we're going to play. If we start making some threes, we're very, very capable of going on a roll ourselves. We show up on Saturday, and it's no longer senior day. No, we're just on the road getting ready to play basketball. And then after that game, it's survive and advance.
Does it help having such a big rivalry game, for the final game of the season, do you think?
No, quite honestly, it hasn't been a rivalry. They've handled us so often for the last 5-6 years that we have not been able to figure out the formula for beating them. We've come very close to closer to beating teams like Carolina and Duke, Clemson, and I think this year, if I remember correctly, we had beaten Boston College 4 times in a row. We had beaten Clemson 3 times in a row. We had beaten Carolina 3 times in a row, 2 or 3 times in a row. So there's certain teams you match up with better and can play better. Florida State's not been one of those.
Yeah, Jim, Nigel and Norchad were honored before the game, and we didn't ask you yesterday, but if this is their last home game here.
I hope it's not. I don't want them to remember their time at Miami as this being the last one.
Yeah, can you speak on that this season compared to what they did last year, just what they've given to this program and what you
Yeah,
want them?
well, first of all, my congratulations to Norchad O'Meara on winning the Skip Prosser Student Athlete of the Year award. It's a tremendous honor. And I think we all know who Skip Prosser was, and my wife and I were very close friends with he and his wife. And, for Norchad to win that and to be honored with that, I think he receives the award at the ACC tournament. But when Charlie Moore and Sam Wardenberg graduated, my staff's goal was to try to find someone who could fill those shoes, because they were very big shoes, because we had gotten to the Elite Eight. It was the furthest the Miami men's basketball program had ever gotten. And it was going to be very, very hard, because in the portal, all the top guys are the most highly recruited players in the country. And NIL was then becoming a big factor, and so Norchad joining us and then Nigel joining us was huge, because not only were they able to fill Sam Wardenberg and Charlie Moore's shoes, but they able then to carry us not only to the Elite Eight, but then to the Final Four. And Norchad is a warrior, and he has shown game after game, season after season, what an incredible person and player he is. And Nigel was sensational in his last year, taking us to the Final Four. And unfortunately, this year, he just hasn't been himself. Just not healthy enough to play like Nigel Pack can play. So if they move on, we would wish them all the very best. They're great contributors to the program. I love both of them. And I think if you remember I think it was the Elite Eight game last year, when they left, Wooga gave me, Norchad gave me a big hug and Nigel gave me a kiss. And when they took the court tonight with their families, I told both of them that I love them, and I do. They've been a tremendous part of my life and the Miami basketball program.
Was Nigel hurt again at the first half that he didn't play? He was just kind of done for the...
Well, he has issues with both knees. I don't know which one he banged, but when he tried to steal that pass, he fell on the floor and banged one of the knees. Whichever one, I think it was his left, but don't quote me.
Thank you.